Hello and welcome to another session of Groundbreakers Live. I'm your host Javed Mohammed, and here in the last part of the APAC tour, I am very honored to have with us Robert van Molken, who is an Oracle Groundbreaker ambassador. He's an Oracle ace. He's an author. I don't know how he does so many things, but Robert, welcome.
Thank you very much, Javed. Thank you very much.
So you have
a lot of things.
Yes. Multi-talented. So you did a couple of presentations on the APAC tour, and I thought we'd kind of focus in on one of them, which was countering food waste using Oracle blockchain platform. And I always love it when technology and people or social issues kind of come together. So I'm just kind of curious, what got you interested in this?
I've found, for me, it's also the social part. So if the problems that we had and around anything around food, so the agriculture of it, it's because we had a little bit of a research team within our company, and specifically on the food and agriculture, and I had a lot of talks with the university in Wageningen, which is a university specific on these things, and that made me got interest in that sector. And then a few years back, I gained knowledge about blockchain, and for me that was like a good mix, like the technology behind blockchain and then the problems it, in my opinion, can really solve in this I don't know, branch or in this sector.
Okay, so can you just give us a sense of, like, so when we're talking about food waste, are we talking about food? Obviously, are we talking about the problem with just growing it and not being able to store it, or are we talking about in the distribution? Or are we talking about in the last part of the food chain and the consumption? Or are we talking about the whole food chain?
Yeah, I think where I focused on was on the last part. So on the waste of within the end consumer, and what happens when somewhere in the chain something goes wrong, and the consumer or doesn't want it, doesn't buy it anymore, or returns it. It can be mostly because there is something happened, in a scandal, right? Something happened. For example, in my presentation, I gave it was to do with eggs. And if there's a substance in it, a drug or something that's not good for the human, right?
So you're talking about some kind of like contamination.
Yeah, a contamination of food where it needs to be like pulled out of the store, right? And you need to know where the contamination comes from, which party is the source, where did it got distributed? Yeah.
So tell us, how does blockchain address? I have a kind of a general idea, but just for the benefit of everyone, how does blockchain address this problem?
So in blockchain is here are a little bit of our system of records. The most is that we the feature of blockchain is that it's like a timestamp of something that happens. But with blockchain, we can create a trace from the source to the end consumer by a digital way of recording the involved parties, the involved assets, like in this case the eggs, the way of identification. But it is stored in a decentralized manner. So blockchain is a decentralized network of nodes. This means that every party that is in this network has a copy of the data. And if something is added to the data, like if you have a database and you do an insert, then this insert needs to go through all the all these nodes in the network to be approved, committed to the data, and added to the database. So it's using blockchain, we know that if something is added by one organization, a change is done, maybe a procedure is called, and the data is changed, this needs to be done at all the nodes. So not only one node does the change of the data and the recording of the data, but all the nodes needs to approve the data before it's inserted. So there's not one owner of the data.
Okay.
And
so give us a sense. So when you implement a solution like this, I don't know how far into it you are with this one, but can you give us a sense of how big the problem was, and now with a solution like this, how much of a saving there is, or can you give us a sense of that?
Yeah, a little bit is that if you with this scandal we had in the Netherlands, it was with a drug called fipronil. It was first started in the Netherlands, but it went to 15 countries in Europe, and also including Switzerland's extra, but even to Hong Kong it went, because the eggs were distributed there. And to find all the contaminated eggs, which is based on an egg code, what is printed on an egg, it took in the Netherlands a few days to some weeks to find all the contaminated eggs, but it went to whole Europe and even to Hong Kong, which eventually took a few months to get all the distribution where all the eggs went to.
Well, the things have gone.
Yeah, but also which farms were contaminated, because eventually the source was a company that delivered food to like these poultry farms. So to eventually find all the contaminated farms, it also took time, right? All the information or the reporting to all the companies, that was mainly through email, phone, no digital systems connected, certainly not over countries. If we would have it in a system like blockchain, then we could even connect all the European countries together. All the health agencies are connected together, where if something would happen, just an event would send out to all these connected nodes, like, hey, we have a contaminated egg, and then within a few minutes everybody was notified. And in this case, it took weeks to find the source, to find the perpetrators. And I think with blockchain, it is or any system of record,
you can literally come down from weeks to days, or maybe even hours to get an
maybe even hours. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is awesome. So, Robert, I really, as I said, mentioned at the outset, it's always amazing when you see technology coming out with addressing real human issues. So thank you for helping to make the world a safer, a better place. And it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Javed. Thank you.